So I'm Brian Fladmo. I live in Louisiana. I've currently been working for Alpha-Stim for about 5 months now, and I've, kind of been in medical sales for a long time. I'm also a veteran, so this was a perfect fit for me as far as, being able to hit the ground running. I wanted to share my story because ever since I started working for Alpha-Stim and I started going into some of these facilities and even in the civilian market, they're just people are not aware that this is available. And once I'm able to educate them on what it does for their patients and what it could do, they're highly interested because the big push across the United States right now is trying to get, patients off of medication, pain meds and things that, these patients can get addicted to. It can cause, issues with their organs down the road. I mean, it's just one of those things where I can share my story because I've actually been through it myself through my military experience and kind of working with some of the doctors in the VA that I see and having to be on medication to treat anxiety and insomnia and even in some cases pain as well. So I spent 10 years active duty Army, paratrooper, so jumped out of planes and did a lot of neat stuff when I was in the military. Unfortunately, when I came out, obviously there were some things that I had gone through during my time in service that, were tough to deal with. And so I started talking to some of the doctors at the VA and they diagnosed me with PTSD. They diagnosed me with, TBI, traumatic brain injury from a couple of parachute falls that knocked me unconscious. But I have gone through several different types of medication for sleep, for anxiety, and it's kind of one of those things. And I deal with a lot of veteran organizations. Like I'm a commander for an American Legion over in my area in Louisiana, and I'm also involved with Disabled American Vets. And the consensus, especially in veterans, is that you get medication thrown at you, and that doesn't do good things. I mean, it helps to alleviate some of the things that you're dealing with, but once you get on so much medication, you almost become like a zombie, and you can't even function in everyday life. And so it's just not anything that any of these veterans that I've talked to want to be like. They want to be able to function and be a part of their life and their family's lives. And Alpha-Stim gives you the opportunity to do that and to get off those medications. And the first time that I used it, I, have troubles with sleep, taking 400 milligrams of trazodone, which is a lot, to sleep at night. And the first time that I wore it for 60 minutes and did the treatment, I could barely keep my eyes open. It was crazy. I basically had to go to bed after I had it on because it had relaxed me so much. And that just kind of happened the first couple times that I used it. But then after that, I really was focused and my anxiety level was diminished greatly. And it just gives you an overall good feeling, in your body. And the fact that you can do your treatment and then you can get out and go do the things that you want to do each day instead of just being medicated and not wanting to be present in your life. So many veterans get in a kind of a just terrible moment in their life where they feel like they can't get out of it, like quicksand's coming in on top of them, and everything negative is happening, and it just gets compounded over and over again. If you educate yourself on the fact that there are things like Alpha-Stim out there available that can do great things for you to get you away from medication and not feeling good in your life, it's really worth the shot. Instead of really sitting there and letting the negative things control your life, rise above that, because everybody in this country is proud of your service and what you did in service to this country, and everybody wants to see you stay around. And I deal with that also with the American Legion, and to be able to talk about the fact that Alpha-Stim can do all these great things really gives them some hope. And I've seen a lot of very interested people. I actually had a veteran call me right when I first started, called me up one day out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, I used the Alpha-Stim when I was in a behavioral health. I was an inpatient and they had one on the floor." And he's like, "It worked so well that I called the company when I left. they directed me to you, and so I'm calling you because I want my own. And so I was able to connect with his mental health provider, and he was able to get his own device. So I love, one of my biggest things is helping veterans. I want to help every single one that I can, and that's why I'm involved in these veteran organizations. So to be able to do that during the day for work as well, I mean, it's huge for me. So it's very rewarding, and I really truly think that having the option to use something like this can really, at the end of the day, do some great things for you.